Dan, RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. First off, I want to apologize if you hear any outside noise. There's some guys doing construction a bit over there. Not sure if it'll come through on the mic, but if it does, sorry. Got a great one here, though. Triggers for living from the end. Living from the end, the concept, is really going to be the key of this whole discussion. But many people's questions around living from the end, I think, and this kind of just dawned on me, I think comes from how it's triggered. And what I mean by that is what causes us to think of living in the end, living from the end? What causes us to go, oh, I need to live from the end, or, ooh, I can live from the end? Like, how is it hitting you? There's two very different ways. Ooh, I need to live in the end means I'm probably not doing something positive. And, ooh, yeah, living from the end is more like yeah, totally. I'm already in that kind of thought process, so let's turn it into that kind of thought. So I want this to make more sense. So my understanding of what sparks it means, when you're trying to manifest a specific person is my guess, or there's a very unique someone or love specifically in your life, whatever the case is, you've got this thought process going on in your mind. And like many of us, we might have occasional doubts, we might have occasional insecurities, we might actually just be in a very, very cool, happy, perfect place, and then they pop into our minds. Maybe they just did a thought transmission of you, and so they pop into your head. So they just pop in, not in a negative sort of way, just kind of shows up. Or maybe you see something that reminds you of them, and from that sparks a thought about them. So I'm going to kind of try to look at all those triggers, all those angles, all those things that will happen in relation to the person we're trying to manifest, the specific person or whatever. So let's take it from the more negative side first, because this is my bigger concern, where I think there's a lot of people that are desperately trying to figure out, how do I live from the end, and then how do I let go at the same time? It's usually, that feels like it's kind of that group of people that I want to live from the end, but I also want to let go, because I know I'm supposed to let go. And I'm going to do a show this week on that. By the way, I got like 4 shows that I don't know what went through me, this creative weirdness, but I'm going to talk into that too for sure. But a lot of the times we might have some insecurities, maybe some fears. Maybe these people are angry with us. Maybe we've got to get some forgiveness going on. Maybe they're not really talking to us. Maybe they've recently blocked us. Maybe we've been putting a lot of effort in this and it just doesn't seem like it's moving forward, whatever the case is. So sometimes when we're coming at it kind of from that angle, where that's where we're at, and again, self-love is really the proper avenue there. It really is, but I know a lot of people don't like that, but that is the case. Like, if you're having doubts, if you're having insecurities, if you're not thinking you're good enough, if it's like usually sort of, well, they don't like me, or they need to forgive me, or there's some middle ground that needs to happen, like you've got some sort of excuse why this relationship isn't working out yet, like it just keeps popping into your head. If you're coming at it from that angle, I would assume a lot of the times when you have thoughts about them are kind of more of that, it's not working out, it's not happening positively. And so then your thought of living from the end is, quickly go to some sort of affirmation, maybe some sort of, it's working out. Maybe you quickly try to create some sort of imaginal scene where everything is okay with them, where you and them are together, where they've forgiven you. And so from some people's standpoint, when we keep coming at it from the fear side, that could very well be kind of our idea or understanding of living from the end. What I will say again is, I think when you're coming at it from that angle, where there's fear, where there's maybe their mom's going to get them engaged, right? And then you can't have them. Like, I'm just trying to think of some of the different things that people share, right? If you're coming at it from that standpoint, we've kind of got to take a step back and go, whoa, what is it about myself that I'm doubting isn't good enough or isn't able to do this? What is it about this scenario that keeps causing me to doubt, to question, to not believe this is possible? We need to look at that. We need to it is great. Like, every time you have one of these thoughts, you do an affirmation to try to get you back to positive. Awesome. That's what you should do. But as I've said before, you've got this thing that keeps spitting out doubt, this little voice that keeps doubting you or keeps popping up and saying things that you don't like, that causes you all sorts of concern, right? What I've said frequently is embrace that voice. That voice is helping you. That voice is showing you where the concern is within yourself. If you're afraid they're not going to forgive you, and then you're quickly trying to do an affirmation, oh no, they'll forgive me, forgiveness is mine, I own forgiveness, right? Like, you're instantly having to do all these affirmations because, well, deep down inside, you don't believe they're going to forgive you. That's the problem. That's the problem. So when you work through the forgiveness issue, Astral Letters, I've talked about it, I'll link it below. When you work through the problem, the issue stops happening. And then that gets us into the positive thing, which we'll get to in a second, because that's what living from the end, I think, is intended to be, certainly what Goddard was meaning. But a lot of us are coming at things from a little bit more of a scary place. And living from the end, when you're in that scary place, you actually are just constantly undoing, I think frequently anyway, are undoing some of that handbraking that we keep doing to ourselves. So if that's where you're coming at it from, if you instantly have this, I don't know if they're ever going to be able to move here, or I don't know, like whatever the thing is that's truly causing the doubt, let's look at that. Let's analyze that. Let's spend time with that. Let's try to maybe do some techniques around it. I mean, it depends on your situation. Feel free to throw comments. Here's what my situation is. Me and many other people will happily help come up with some thoughts for you. You know, I'm trying to give examples, can't cover them all. But again, if there's something, there's doubt, if there's something where you're not good enough, then you need to address the self-love. Do more self-love meditations. Do more videos. Watch more videos on self-love. If you're, I don't love myself, what should I do? Watch more videos. There you go. There's your answer. Watch more videos. There is a whole YouTube world out there. You can search whatever you want and find specific videos. So if you've identified a problem, research that problem a little bit. Hop on, your favorite search engine and search for whatever and see what articles come up, maybe see what videos come up, go whatever avenue you like. Maybe you find a book that actually speaks to that, buy that book, read that book. Address the issue. Address that part of you that keeps doubting everything and keeps forcing you to have to do affirmations and keeps forcing you to feel like you're trying to turn something around when that's not really kind of what living from the end is. So, if you're coming at it from that sort of negative way, okay, you're obviously doing some of that affirming. Maybe sometimes you freak out. Maybe you're looking into it like you should be, right? Embrace it, love it. Maybe you get defeated sometimes and it causes you to give up and you go through all these little cycles. Again, look at what's happening. Why? Why do I keep doubting myself? Why do I not think I'm attractive enough? I don't know. I mean, am I too fat? Am I too skinny? Do I have like a blemish that I could maybe get removed? Like, what is it? What is the thing? I don't know. I don't know what it is with you, and I don't know if it's something that can just be easily manifested through. I don't know, but my point is by looking at the thing that's causing the issues, it allows you to heal that thing, hopefully, and then from there, you can manifest your goal easier. So, cool. We got the negative thing out of the way. Now, the way I believe it's really meant to be is, of course, when you do all the imaginal work, you're imagining the specific person, you're imagining being with them. Maybe you've imagined certain places you're going to have dinner. Maybe you've imagined the night of your wedding. Maybe you've imagined some house, whatever. You've all put all this effort into imagining them, and then you've probably let go of it. You don't think about it constantly, is my point. At least that's what it means to me. I feel like there's a hair in my eye. It's going to bug me, but whatever. You don't constantly think about it. You're not maybe constantly trying to do imaginal work. You realize you've already done the imaginal work. It's happening. I don't need to continue working so hard at it. So I've got my let go thing. But like any person that loves people or is interested in having a relationship with someone, these people will pop up into our minds from time to time. Things will happen that remind us of them. And when we're in that good place, and they pop into our head, it's more of a, yeah, I love you. Like, it's a very happy, groovy thing. You're happy. Oh, no, I'm trying to let go. You don't do that. You don't go like, I'm trying to let go. Why do you keep popping into my head, you wonderful being you? No. You just enjoy the fact that they're popping into your head. And maybe the reason it popped into your head is actually something to live from the end in. Was it just like you walked by a croissant place? I have to say it the proper way, right? Or croissant, that's how we say it here in the United States. We talk all funny, shoot. That's how we say it. So did you pass by some awesome bakery and go, oh man, my SP just loves donuts. Like, that'd be so awesome to go here with them. That's living from the end. That is taking a moment where they pop into your head relative to what it was that just inspired the thought, and it ties them together in a fun way. And look, down the road, this is where we'll go. We'll go to this place together. They're going to have such a good time. Or maybe you drove by that house. That's like the perfect house. And it's got that front area that they talked about that one time, the way they'd like it to be. And you're like, oh, that's exactly like how Brad said it would be. Oh, that's awesome. That would be like the perfect house for the two of us. That's living from the end. It's when you're noticing things. Maybe you see a car and you're like, oh, you see two people that are traveling on the side of the road maybe, and they're hiking, and that's something that you guys are into, and it reminds you of the person you love and the person you're manifesting. That's awesome. Live from the end whenever they pop up in your mind. Yes, live from the end also means you put yourself in a place where you already have what you desire. That's the technique that Goddard talks about. But when you see people and they remind you of your situation and you think about how that is you and you're living from that, that's going to be me and Brad or Joe or Bobby Sue or whoever the heck it is. Well, now all of a sudden you are technically living from the end, right? You're doing exactly what Goddard said. You're seeing this wish fulfilled and you're in that place. So again, it's the triggers that create this. And even if you're letting go and people pop into your mind, that's awesome. Don't sweat it. That's great. Live from the end when it happens. You don't need to keep dwelling on it. You can spend as long as you'd like there. I will say there's been plenty of times where I've thought about it and just kind of like, smile, dumb grin on my face as I was having a little daydream. Great. Have your daydream. Then get back to driving or whatever you were just doing, right? Like get back to life, and that's fine. You've let go and you've just enjoyed this little moment where life showed you something and it reminded you of where you're going. So it was almost a coincidence, right? Almost a sign. And it sort of reminded you of that. And it was something that was perfect, in line with what you're manifesting. And it allowed you that moment to go, man, that's going to be awesome. I remember when we weren't together. Like you can start having fun with all these little techniques because ultimately that's what they come in handy for, is when they pop into your head. When they pop into your head, that's great. Think of them, enjoy them, then go back to what you were doing. You don't need to worry about it. Oh no, I'm trying to let go and they popped into my head. That's fine. That's totally okay. They're going to, in fact. And in fact, some of why I constantly tell people to let go is because very interesting things happen when you do. And it's different for everyone. It's similar for most people, but it's different how it manifests for all of us. And the reason I don't tell you what to expect is because it will be different for you. It's like one of the reasons why meditation's frustrating for people is because you've read books on what meditation's supposed to be like, and then you meditate and it's not like that. Why? Because someone shared their example of what meditation is. Well, that's not necessarily how it's going to be for you. It might, but it might not. And that's okay. Meditation's a personal experience that you have to walk through and embrace, and then once you've done it, you become good at it and you start to see the benefit. And then it's like, boom, done. It's the same thing with manifesting. These techniques, there's a billion of them, right? But some work good for some work good for others, whatever. Do what works for you. When they pop into your head, that's perfectly okay. If they're not popping into your head, that's perfectly okay. You don't have to worry about it if you actually went 24 hours and they didn't pop into your head. That's okay. Don't look too hard into it. And at the same time, if they are popping into your head, pay attention to why and how. Did you just see something and it scared you? And like a great example on the negative side, right? Maybe you see two people arguing and it instantly makes you think of your person. You got to get through that forgiveness. If that's instantly reminding you, and it's that moment, I saw two people frustratedly arguing with each other, and it instantly made me think of my specific person. Boom, key, hug it, find it. That's your deal. Get on the forgiveness train, astral letters, rubbing out technique. I don't know, look up other stuff. There's probably other techniques out there. Do what works for you. But you've identified the problem. Again, it's great when that negative thing pops up. And it's like, oh my God, there it is. There it is. And this is why. Oh my God, I'm now paying attention and I see it. I see it. Or I see the child and the dad, and it instantly makes me think about how we're in a divorce now, and my kid, right? It instantly takes me to that sad place. It instantly takes me to that, I don't believe we're together. It instantly reminds me of my current situation. That needs to be resolved. Otherwise, living from the end becomes very challenging. So maybe, again, maybe it's forgiveness in this case. Maybe it's working through some of the things that, whatever the blockages are. I don't know what they are in your case. It's different for everybody. When we identify these things and can truly identify why we're heading down that path, it makes that living from the end that much easier. And even if you're letting go, which you should do, it's a good idea anyways, you can still live from the end. You just don't necessarily have to make it your waking conscious effort of every day. No, you've got other things that you do and other things you're involved with and other things you enjoy. And on top of that, I get these awesome reminders of this person I'm in love with. It's fabulous. It is so much fun. And it really helps when we can kind of work through some of the fear factors. I've got another show. I've got 2 different shows coming up. I'm going to do another concept of living from the end as well. I thought the triggers was super important. I'm going to try to break it down a little more, maybe get some good examples. And I've also got some good stuff about difference between letting go, I think. Yeah, letting go. A really awesome show on letting go will be coming up this week. Again, a lot of weird stuff hit me, and it turned into like 4 different shows. This is the one I felt like made the most sense to do first. So the triggers, very important. If you're on the good side of the trigger, bitchin'. If you're on the bad side of the trigger, bitchin'. It's good either way, I promise you. It's just what you do with it that matters. That's the only difference. Hopefully, this helps all you guys. I love this stuff. Stay on Radio Style.